This is a free yoga class that I'd like to offer to people at this time of social distancing due to the coronavirus. I thought it'd be helpful if we practiced or had some guidelines in practicing Hatha Yoga, in the sense of cultivating mindfulness for stress release and for generally feeling really present to everything that's happening around us. So we'll start by lying on the back body on the floor, and you can ensure that you are comfortable and have a blanket on top of you if you're cool, and you can have a blanket or pillow under the back of your head. Your arms can be wherever they are most comfortable. They can be at your sides, folded on top of yourself, or perhaps even overhead. And come into a sense of your breath and feel the inhalation breath and your exhalation breath. Allow your eyes to close. Start to feel the parts of the body that are on the ground. Feel the back of the head, feel the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Inhale and exhale into the back of the shoulders, your upper back. Feel the back of your pelvis on the floor. And feel the back of your legs and your feet. If your lower back is sensitive, you may find it more comfortable to bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. And just stay in this posture of Shavasana and feel the inhalation breath and your exhalation breath. Connect to the sense of your breath and allow it to be a released breath. Let go of any sense of holding or tension in your breathing. Feel the more dry sense of the inhalation breath and the warmer, cooler breath of exhalation. You can be aware of your breath and your sinuses, your nose. If you have trouble breathing through your nose, you might breathe through your mouth. Take a few more breaths and then start to deepen your breath. Perhaps inhale into the belly, into your ribs, and into your chest. You can have one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Feel that as you inhale, the breath can expand. And as you exhale, the breath, the belly can rest back. This is called the full yogic breath. You can inhale into your belly, into your pelvis, into your ribs, and into your chest. Full deep exhalation, letting your belly sink back. Take a few more deep breaths. Inhaling into the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling and letting your belly sink back. Feel your body on the ground again as supported by the earth. In this practice, we cultivate a sense of trust to release our tension onto the ground. And then we can draw the knees, so the feet are on the floor. Draw the knees up to bring your feet on the floor. And let your knees drop to the side. You can let your knees drop to the right. Take a breath and let them release to the right, letting go of all tension in the legs and the inner thighs. On an exhalation, you can let your left leg come back to the center and to the left, and the right leg will follow. And then let your legs drop to the left. Take a breath or two. On the next exhalation, let your right leg go back to the right and the left leg follows. It's important to let the legs fall apart as opposed to keeping them together. We release tension from the body this way, and we let the back and the back of the pelvis release. So just continue allowing the legs to drop from side to side, feeling the weight of the legs as they drop. Feeling the back of your pelvis come to the floor if your legs are on the left. The center of the pelvis will come to the floor, and then the right side of the pelvis will come to the floor. Continue one more time to each side. That's it. And then we'll draw the knees to the chest, and you can circle the back of the pelvis on the floor. You can feel the back of the pelvis releasing. We use the weight of our own body here, the weight of our legs, to let the pelvis release. So take this, I'll show you from the side. Try the circling of the legs a little longer in both directions. Again, letting the feet and the ankles relax is very important. You can circle one leg at a time, the right one, then the left one. And when you're ready, you can let your legs drop here from side to side. This is called little boat twist. You can exhale and let your knees drop to the right. The left shoulder might come off the floor, allow it to release back. And again, let your legs move one at a time from side to side. Moving on an exhalation. Feeling the weight of the body and letting the legs drop. And exhale. Continue moving here from side to side. Okay, trusting the process, allowing the floor to support you. And then coming back to the center, we can try keyhole, which is taking your right ankle on your left knee and bringing your hands, if you can, around your left leg, back of your left knee. Some people feel more comfortable on top. And then you can inhale and allow your leg to release away, and exhale and bring it back. And inhale, allow it to release, and exhale and allow it to come back. Try that a few more times. Change sides. We can take the left ankle on the right knee. Bring your hands, if you can reach, around the back of your right leg. If you feel very stiff today and you cannot reach your leg, just take your foot to the floor and let your legs drop a little bit from side to side, oscillating. If you can, you reach the back of your right thigh. And as you inhale, you can let your legs release. And as you exhale, you can bring them back. Take your time, feel your breath. Breathe into the stretch in the pelvis. That's it. Try the first side again. You can take your right ankle to your left knee. You can drop your legs from side to side again. If you can't reach the back of your right thigh, your left thigh, sorry, and you can inhale, let your leg release, and exhale and draw your knee in. Breathe into the stretch in the pelvis. Repetition is really helpful. It allows the body to release, to understand what we're doing, to integrate it. Change legs again. If you have difficulty bringing your knee to your chest, just let your right foot rest on the floor and drop your legs slightly from side to side. You can exhale and draw your right knee in if that helps. Take a few breaths. Relax your shoulders and arms. Even though we're using the arms and shoulders here to support the leg, we can keep them relaxed. Remember that deep breath, inhaling into the belly, ribs, chest, and exhaling. And then bring your feet back to the floor again. Take a few breaths. And then we're going to come into cat pose. We're going to roll over and come up onto the mat on all fours. And we're going to take the time, let's move my pillow, to practice cat pose. So if the cat pose is really hard on your wrists and uncomfortable, you can fold the end of your mat and bring your wrists onto the folded part of the mat. It'll decrease the stress on the wrists. If this is okay, stretch your hands, and as you exhale, you can round your spine up and let your head drop, and inhale, you can release down, and exhale, you can round the spine up, and take a few moments just exploring this easy, gentle movement of the spine, of the back body, in cat pose. Inhaling down, exhaling, rounding up. Inhaling, releasing down, exhale, and round up and stretch the back. Then you can take your hands over to the right and sit your hips back towards your heels. Just be mindful of your knees. And let your left side stretch. The inside hand stretch forward to stretch those side ribs. Inhale and exhale. You can practice cat pose on the side. And then you can walk your hands back to the center and over to the left. And sit your hips back and exhale and stretch into the right side ribs, the right arm. Let your head drop, release your neck, breathe into the stretch. And then on an exhalation, you can round your spine up and to down. You might be able to take your hands further over to the left. Breathing. And then we'll come back to the center. We can try the first side again. Take your hands to the right. Without a feeling of having to push yourself further, you might be able to release a little more deeply this time because it's the second time. This style of yoga cultivates mindfulness, awareness, being able to stay with what we're experiencing. Back to the center and over to the left one more time. Inhale deeply and exhale. Stretch through the right arm, the right side of the body. Let your head release and neck release. And then exhale and round up and dip down a little bit to release the spine again. We'll come back to the center. So dropping down through the arms, we can take the toes under and the hips back, and slowly begin to straighten your legs in downward facing dog pose. You can alternately bend your legs slowly. Take 1 to 2 breaths at least for each leg. Inhaling deeply and exhale, change sides. Breathe into the stretch and the hamstrings and the calf muscles. Back to the first side, bend the knee and stretch the other leg. Breathing into the leg, into the pelvis. Take your time, move slowly. And then you can stretch through the arms, the pelvis, moving back with the breath. Inhale and exhale, we can bring the knees back to the floor. And let yourself rest down in child's pose. Depending on your neck,
You might need to keep your arms forward or bring your hands back beside your feet, palms facing up. If your head does not comfortably reach the ground, you can always separate your knees and drop down. You can also bring your hands under your head. Take your time here. Slow down and breathe into the posture. Breathe into your lower back. Inhaling fully and exhaling fully. Breathe into the pelvis and into the lower back. Let your head drop. Let your shoulders drop. And then we're going to bring the arms forward again. We're going to inhale and exhale and come up. And round the spine forward so the pelvis comes down and the chest opens in Cobra pose. Inhale, take a few breaths in Cobra. Make sure your lower back feels secure and is not uncomfortable. And then on an exhalation, you can go back to Child's Pose. So if Cobra, full Cobra is not comfortable and your back feels like it's compressing, just come partway forward. And then inhale and exhale and go back. Inhaling deeply and exhale again. Round the spine up. Let the pelvis drop forward and the spine unfold and release into Cobra pose. And then back. Your body, rest in Child's Pose for a moment. Hands forward or back. Or arms under your hands, under your heads. And take some time with your breath. We're going to come into lunge pose now, which is a fairly strong stretch for the quadricep, the thigh muscle, and the hip flexors. I'm going to take the right foot forward. So depending on your level of flexibility, you might be able to just step your right foot forward. If that feels awkward, you can take your hands to the left and then bring your right foot forward and your hands back. Inhale deeply and exhale. Take your time with your hands on the floor. If that's okay, you might want to see about coming up onto your right leg, hands on your right leg, or possibly bring your arms up overhead. Deeply inhale, deeply exhale, and let the front of the back leg stretch. When people do lunge pose, sometimes we'll pull back because it's very strong. That it's okay to do that, it helps still, but you get a stronger stretch if you drop your pelvis forward. If the posture feels very unsteady, you can bring your hands back to the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we'll stretch in reverse lunge. You can take your right heel to the floor, start to straighten your right leg, bring your fingertips to the floor if you need to, and drop your head. And then we'll bring yourself forward. We'll take the right foot back. Take your hands, if you need to, over to the right to swing the left foot forward, or you might just be able to take it forward. Take a few breaths. Inhale deeply and exhale with your hands on the floor, letting your right leg stretch, the front of your right thigh and right hip flexor stretch. If that seems okay, you can bring your hands up to your left leg, still allowing the back leg to release, the front of the back leg to release. And if that's all right, bring your arms all the way up and take a few breaths here. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. If it feels too unbalanced, you can bring your hands back to the floor. And then we'll take reverse lunge. We'll take the left leg to start to straighten it out. Drop your head. Let your neck release. Let the back of the left leg release. Inhale deeply and exhale, and then we'll take the left leg back. Try cat pose again. Round the spine up as you exhale and dip down. Drop your head, let your neck release. And then try downward dog once again. And see if it feels any different this time after stretching your legs in lunge pose. Bring yourself back to the floor. And we're going to try lunge again. Again, repetition is helpful. We'll take the right foot forward. Practice with the hands on the floor for a few breaths. Make sure your neck stays long. Try not to lift your head so much all the time. It's a habit people have, and it really tightens up the back of our neck. So let your neck be loose. Inhale deeply and exhale. And if you can come up into upright lunge, come up. Your arms can be out to the side. They can be up overhead as long as you feel your lower back is not pinching or on your leg. Inhale deeply and exhale. Release into the stretch. And then we'll come back down. Take the right leg back. And we'll take the left foot forward. Deeply inhale and exhale with the hands on the floor. And then we'll bring the arms up onto the leg, out to the sides or overhead. Breathe into the front of the right hip. Inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Allow the body to release. And then bring the hands back. And we'll take the left foot back. We're going to come back to downward facing dog pose. You can adjust the distance between your knees and your hands to make it shorter, which tends to stretch the hamstrings more. Downward dog. And walking our knees back when we go into downward dog seems to stretch the calves. You can try. So maybe we'll walk the knees a little closer to the wrists this time. Take the toes under and stretch in downward facing dog pose. Take a few breaths. Now we'll walk the feet forward into standing forward bend and drop forward. Breathing in downward and standing forward bend. You can have your hands, they might not come to the floor. You can fold your elbows. If your lower back is sensitive, you might pop your elbows up onto your knees. In either case, wherever you are, let your head drop, let your neck release. And take a few breaths, inhaling into the belly, exhaling. And then we're going to bend the knees and exhale and roll up to standing, and we'll stretch up and back. Inhale deeply and exhale. Release down into the legs and up into the arms. And then bring your arms down. So we're going to come to the front of the mat for sun salutation. This is one variation. There's several variations of sun salutation, and you can be creative and you may come up with your own modifications. Inhale, and as you exhale, come forward in standing forward bend. You might need to bend your knees here. Slowly exhale and see about letting them lengthen. We'll inhale deeply and exhale. We'll step the right foot back for lunge pose. Bring the right knee to the floor. Inhale and exhale. Let your arms come up. Breathe in lunge pose. And on an exhalation, bring your hands down and take your left foot back to downward facing dog pose and stretch back. Bring the knees to the floor, release back into child's pose. Be mindful of your knees here. Let your head drop and neck release. Inhale in child's pose, and as you exhale, round the spine up. And feel that your pelvis can release forward and your spine release into cobra. Inhale deeply in cobra. Exhale, come back. And then we'll take the right foot forward in lunge pose. We'll stay in low lunge for this. Inhale deeply, exhale, and we'll take the left foot forward for standing forward bends, and then drop forward. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, roll up to standing and stretch up and back. Inhale and exhale forward for standing forward bends. Hop your elbows up onto your knees for your lower back. Stretch forward. Inhale deeply and exhale. We'll take the left foot back into lunge pose. Left knee comes to the floor and come up into upright lunge if that feels okay for you. Inhale deeply and exhale, bring the hands down. We'll take the right foot back to downward facing dog pose. Stretch back. We'll bring the knees to the floor and release back into child's pose. Let your head drop and neck release. Inhale in child's and exhale and round the spine up. Pelvis comes toward the floor into cobra. Inhale deeply and exhale, coming back. And then we'll take the left foot forward for lunge. We're going to stay in low lunge. We'll take the right foot forward into standing forward bend and then drop forward. Inhale deeply, exhale, bend the knees, roll yourself up to standing on an exhalation, stretch up and back. And then release the arms and we can come into Purnudra and then let your arms rest at your side and feel your body in mountain pose. Tadasana in Sanskrit, mountain pose. And be aware of the sides of the body, your right foot releasing into the ground. Inhale and exhale and feel your left foot releasing into the ground. When people do this, sometimes we'll sway. Intentionally swaying from side to side allows us to feel the weight of the body sinking into the ground through each foot. Allow yourself to come back to the center and take a few moments here, breathing consciously into the belly, ribs, chest as you inhale, and into the chest, ribs, belly as you exhale. Feel the feet releasing into the floor. Allow yourself to grow roots so that the spine can be light and come upright. And then we're going to exhale and bend the knees and drop forward again. We'll walk the feet back to downward facing dog pose. Release into the legs and into the hands. And then we'll bend the knees and come to the floor. So we're going to come and try a couple of sitting postures. And for this, sometimes it's helpful to sit on a blanket or even a cushion. And it can be a meditation cushion like that one, or any couch sofa cushion that you may have, fold a towel. And we'll start with sitting in, I call this modified tortoise posture, or modified sitting wide stride forward bend. Kind of a combination of both postures. And it's really helpful if we feel stiff in the hips and can't just bend forward with our legs straight. So we start with the knees bent and feet on the floor and drop forward and let your head drop. And when you're here, feel your inhalation breath and your exhalation breath. And as you inhale, you might feel the body lift a little bit. And as you exhale, you can feel it drop. Pay attention to that movement of the breath, because it's not something we're consciously making the body do. And the way that I bend my arm, I'm thinking about my arm bending. When we're dropping forward in these postures and throughout our yoga class, we use our breath to allow the body to release and to give over to the sense of gravity, and so that we can also drop tension. And so as you inhale, you can feel that the body lifts, and as you exhale, it drops. The main part of this is to feel comfortable in the posture. If that's okay, you might try stretching your legs forward and then see about coming forward. You might only come forward so far, but as long as you're inhaling, feeling the body lift, and drop, that's important. It doesn't matter how far forward you come. If you can release a little bit further forward, then do. Feel your inhalation, your exhalation breath again. Another variation that you can try here is to take a cushion. Again, upholstery cushions are good, and bring it up against your front body. And you can also see about bending your knees and dropping forward. Whatever helps you connect to your breath and your body in a non-stressful way. Other variations we can practice include side bendings. You can bring your arms up, turn and take your right arm towards your right leg and your left arm over. Again, as you inhale, you might feel the body lift slightly. As you exhale, you can feel it release. Coming up, and take your left hand to your left leg and your right arm over, and you can feel your inhale and exhale. Coming back to the center. You can bring the soles of the feet together. And if you feel uncomfortable under your knees, take that cushion and pop it under the knee. If one knee feels uncomfortable with this, support it. And then you can see about turning to the side, to the right here as you inhale and exhale to the side. And come back and turn to the left. Come back to the center and then try dropping forward. Staying with your sense of breath, inhaling deeply and exhaling. Be mindful of your knees. And then we'll come forward here, bring the legs to the center and stretch them out. You can try dropping forward in sitting forward bend this way. If that feels impossible, please bend your knees and let your body rest on top of your thighs. We're trying to feel how can the body release and soften, and how can we feel movement of breath through the whole body. And then coming up. So the last posture we'll do in this sequence together is bridge pose. I'll show you from the side. We're going to lie back on the mat and lie lengthwise. I'm just going across so you can see in this video. Your feet are on the floor around hip width apart. We're going to inhale, and as you exhale, you let your pelvis come off the floor, your lower back, your middle back, and come up onto the shoulders. Your arms can be at your sides, out to your sides, or overhead. And then you can inhale and exhale and come down. Try this a few times at your own pace. Feel that as you inhale, the pelvis lifts first, then the lower back, then the middle back, and maybe part of your upper back. Our back is designed as vertebrae that can move part by part, bit by bit. And when we move that way, we're moving in a way that's very natural for the body and very releasing for the body. Tension is allowed to release. Muscles can move that. Instead of coming up all at once and down all at once, we're slowing down and paying attention to how we move, being mindful that the pelvis can come up first, the lower back, the middle back, onto the shoulders, and then as we exhale, we can exhale and reverse the order. That's it. And then rest on the ground and feel your back. You can draw your knees back to your chest for a moment. You can circle the legs with the back of the pelvis in each direction. And you can practice a little boat twist. I find it so helpful to repeat postures toward the end of the class that we did at the beginning, not so that we can compare and always have to have a sense of progress. That's pretty stressful for us and for the body. We try to feel a little bit more deeply that we can integrate our body and breath together. And then when you're ready, you can rest back in Shavasana again, resting on the ground. Your feet can be long. Your legs can be long, or your feet on the floor with knees bent, whatever is most comfortable for you. Arms can be at your sides or on top of your rib cage or your belly. Feel your inhalation breath, your exhalation breath. Allow your eyes to stay closed. Feel the support of the ground. Stay in Shavasana and breathe. Feel your head, and shoulders, and arms. And stay in the posture. You can feel the support of the ground. And we get a chance to feel the body when we are not asking anything of it. So often we may feel that in order to feel the body, we have to stimulate it in some way, do something. But there is a joy and I think a healing that can come to the body when we simply feel it as it is, without requiring it to get fixed or stronger, but just to cultivate a sense of deeply listening to the body. So stay as long as you would like. Feel the head, the shoulders, your arms and hands. Feel the front of the body, the back of the body. Feel the legs on the ground. Feel your heels or the soles of the feet if your legs are bent. And to paraphrase the Zen master and teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, you can have a little repeating mentally a little couplet, meditation practice, mindfulness practice. As you breathe in, you can say to yourself, breathing in, I know I am breathing in. And as you breathe out, you can say to yourself, breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. The breath and the body bring us into the present moment through the sensations. We can collect our attention and our energy and our mindfulness back into the body, into the present moment. By feeling the breath and feeling the body. By staying with them. When they're tired, when we're tired or not feeling well, we can feel the body and stay with it. Feel the inhalation and the exhalation. And thank you for joining me for this first yoga class. I'm hoping to do a series of classes while we are trying to social distance to help us all feel the benefits of yoga and to feel